Welcome to Redvee TV's Instant Reaction, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season. Following Wigan's 14 points to 6 victory over St Helens here in the Good Friday derby. Kevin?
That is one of the worst quality derbies I have seen, and we were second best. I'm not going to try and dress it up. I don't think either team is at their best. I think Wigan were good enough to beat us. I think they were the better team. But we were terrible.
I almost feel like whoever got the noses in front in that game would have stayed there, and Wigan were the team that did.
Listen, we said it in the preview show that if you let a team bully you in the forwards, you're always on the back foot. I'm not entirely sure Wigan did. I think they were slightly better in the forwards. I think they were slightly better in their attacking play than we were, because we didn't in that first half. Listen, we've had tries, shots off going into touch and that, but I'm not entirely sure we look like scoring. I think that's one of the performances here, and I know we've been nilled here, that just kind of frustrates you that we're a better team than that, but Wigan were the better team today.
Charlie?
Last tackle kicks were the big issue there. The way with Dodd and Lomax, we'd mix it up, so we'd go for a bomb sometimes, but occasionally we'd also go for the long kick. We need to stop them long kicks. It's like catching practice for the fullback or the winger. If we can hit it into any sort of space or anything, then we'll be sorted. But until that line speed comes on, until the kick chase, anything, just get sorted that defence from a kick. That's the main thing.
That's a brilliant point to me.
It almost seems like we've got one kick, and it's Lewis Dodd just floating the kick. Somebody's been talking about Luke Douglas all afternoon. That's the problem. That problem is, I think they're in the boots outfit. Lewis Dodd, he just floats it to the corner, and obviously it's a tactic, and we're trying to give it to French and hit him early and pin him in that corner. But when you're 20 metres out from the line, we've seemed to have stopped putting any sort of attacking kicks in.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Charlie's just put it right. There's no running on it as well, is there? And there's no kind of variation where you're just trying to make a winger or a fullback pick it up and make it awkward for him. Listen, Lewis Don knows what he needs to do. He's signed with an Aussie agent. If he wants to make it in Oz, he needs to step up. He needs to show what he's doing in Super League, let alone to be looking at NRL yet. He needs to get in and start, instead of floating him up. And listen, we went through it with Theo Farge, who kept on putting it into areas and people bagged him for that. It's not long before people start bagging Lewis Dodd for just floating a kick up and letting a fullback make 20 metres off a run.
But herein lies the issue. Is it his choice to be doing that, or is he coached to do that?
Well, if he's doing that and if he's coached to do that, then fair enough. But if he's not kicking it long and making the fullback and winger think about it and not playing what's in front of him, like apparently he's been told to do, then you kind of wonder what's going on. You do wonder what's going on there. I'd like to see him play a little bit more of a free and literally just turn around and go, I'm a good enough halfback to take the line on, to put a little kick through. You see what happens. He puts a kick through, Johnny Lomax runs onto it and we score, and it seemed a little bit free of that. So if it's what's being done in training and what he's being told to do, then that puts the onus on the coaching staff, and it puts the onus on, is Paul Wellens telling him the right thing to do? Is Lauren Fraser who's bringing something new to the team, telling him what to do right? Is it someone else? I just want to see something that makes the fullback and winger think, rather than us looking at it and going, I know what's going to happen here.
First half an hour, we seemed to have an awful lot of possession and didn't really know what we were doing with it.
I think it was more the fact that these kicks, so back on the kicks, we were pinning these kicks in, and French was claiming them every single time. You know, Miski was collecting them every single time. Marshall, they were making 10, 15 metres off each carry. So I think that already put a negative effect on our weed player. So we were making, I'd say, we'd probably get pinned back 12-10. We were only getting 12-30 at times, you know. And that's just the area where we need to sort of click and realise we need to be a bit smarter, you know. Hit some overs, hit some underlines, and just keep. When we brought on George Delaney, for example, that was a bit of energy. Yeah. We didn't have any of that. When Delaney came on, you know, we had all that energy when he came on. It just seemed lacklustre at times in that first 30. It's almost as if it was in a derby. It was almost as if we were playing Wakefield last week, and it was all that intense just wasn't there for that first 30, and it just wasn't. That probably put the negative sort of start to the game, which didn't help at all.
I just want to bring in on that. George Delaney comes on, and he keeps on winning the collision, so he's on his front. And then playing the ball quickly.
But then we score and we take him back off.
Yeah.
I think that was also, you know, you've got Matty Lees there, you've got all the
He's talking, I'm not.
You know,
you've
got, but when Matty Lees comes on, I think the past 3-4 weeks we've probably tied him. You know, he's played 80 minutes. He's played 80 minutes against Huddersfield. He played 80 minutes. Played 80 minutes against Huddersfield, and then Wakefield put in these 65. So I think Matty Lees has been tied. That's not an excuse at all. You know, you're a rugby league player. You're playing professional. You've got to be able to put their minutes in, and especially in a game like this, you've got to just put that extra in. You've got that 110% in a game like this.
I just got stopped in the ground by somebody at the end saying we were out infused. At times today, I wonder, do we look like an ageing team in certain areas? And listen, age comes to everyone. We look like a team who have got a little bit older. Listen, if you call it a golden generation, we've won 4 in a row. Is this team coming maybe a little bit towards the end of its lifespan? And you're going to have to, obviously, we have got plenty of players out of contract at the end of the year, and it's going to be maybe a year or two rebuilding coming in.
I think it's 14 at the end of the year. Listen, it's easy to say that at the end of a defeat, isn't it? Where players are looking that little bit tired and that little bit just not quite at the top. We're early in the season. I'm not going to write us off just yet.
No, listen. Listen. This Saint side.
How many times did you say that, Mark? We apologise for saying listen half a dozen times in a row.
On the day this Saint side can compete and beat anyone, I think we're still really missing Joe Batchelor, as we've discussed previously. In the forwards, you probably do miss Alex Walmsley because Iggy Parsi isn't as effective starting games rather than coming off the bench.
I think he's carrying a knock as well. So you're asking him to do a job that he probably can't quite do because he's carrying that knock. He's coming in from a week off. Listen, it's a disappointing day today. I think we're going to look at that and say we've left a lot of points again out on that field.
I think that's the scary thing.
Yeah.
As bad as we were, and we were bad for...
I don't think we were great. Yeah, I'm not going to say bad, but
I think we were bad.
Great.
At times, for quite a lot of that game, we were bad. But in the first half, if Makinson gets to the corner, he scores.
Morgan Knowles...
Inside ball.
Where he doesn't quite control it yet.
It was more than anything, when we were making them breaks, when we were making them breaks, it's sort of if we look clueless. You know, when Morgan made that break, he was looking either side thinking, who am I going to pass to here? Yeah. Lewis Dodd comes through, and then I think it was Joe Shorrocks who just gets his hand in.
Joel Shorrocks outpaced him.
And that's your thing, as well, what we've been discussing every week, the pace of the team. Yeah. Is that something there which is going to be an effect on us next 1 year, 2 years?
As I said, aging a little bit.
No, it probably does, because if you look at our pack, like you're saying with Iggy Parsi, he's a bench player in the sense of he's so explosive when he comes onto the field, and that's what we loved last season when he first joined us last season. When he first joined the year before, what we noticed from him was just such explosive power when he came on, and like if you hit him, probably when he come after like 30 minutes on a crash ball, you'd make 10-15 metres of him, if not more. So I think. That being said, with obviously LMS, he's 37 maybe, 37. Yeah. So you've got to, and George Delaney is picking his boots up and he's giving it a good go. But I think there is recruitment needed. Or you go into the academy, and look what's happened with Regan Grace. You know, you try and boost someone like that. Obviously, we've seen it with John Benenson currently, trying to develop him even further. But no, I think recruitment is definitely needed, especially looking like your 9, your front row. Even you look even like a loose. You would have a loose support, probably Bell.
You look Taylor Pemberton possibly can play loose as well. That little bit of spark. I think Taylor Pemberton can play 6, 9, 13. All of a sudden, do you get that little bit of spark from it? I mean, Lussick is growing into the role, and I wouldn't turn around and necessarily knock Lussick out of it at the minute, but you've got to look at what you've got available, and there might be a brave call to be made. We've got a massive game against Hull KR away next week. It'd be a big call to drop a couple of players out of this today, and I don't think they will. I think they'll stick with what we've got.
Is it a case that we haven't really got a choice? A big worry today, Sione's gone off with a concussion on the back of that concussion he suffered a couple of weeks ago. Back-to-back concussions, we know.
Couple of weeks, that's got to be out for him. There's got to be a couple of weeks.
He didn't look well.
But then it gives the likes of Sam Royal a run, and it gives the likes of, I mean, Joe Batchelor's only a couple of weeks off, but it gives Sam Royal a run. It gives Lewis Baxter, if he's not injured, a run. It gives Taylor Pemberton a run at 13. It gives James Bell a run at 13. And it gives them the chance to turn around and say, listen, this is what we can give you.
That's what was. Sorry. The only thing I would say with Batchelor is you don't want to rush him in early.
Correct.
And that's your thing with that type of injury, which is, I think it was an ankle injury. You don't want to rush him back into it. So if we can try and steady the ship, try and bring Bell into second row, because obviously I think he come on as 13 when he come on. Yeah. So hopefully we can steady the ship and.
You know what? We've still got Jake Wingfield to come back in as well.
And Jake Wingfield wasn't even in the squad today.
Yeah.
I think he's been a big loss. As much as Batchelor is a huge loss with his energy and his stamina, which he can go on for probably full 80. Jake Wingfield is up and coming, and he will probably be up there with starting back rowers.
Well, he's got the energy, hasn't he? Yeah, he's got the energy.
At 14-6, if we get that ball down in the corner, it's game on. The minute he drops that ball as he's going over the line, the bubble burst, and that was the end of us.
It's not 2006, is it? Where you think how many we're going to win by?
No. Disappointing all round. Hull KR away after they've won 40-0. Warrington at home. And then Catalan away. Kev? Gets easier.
It does. Can't wait for a couple of pints in Catalan.
It might be as sunny as today.
It might all
oh well.
Yeah.
Feels like Good Friday when you've come to Wigan and got beat, doesn't it? And you go back to a pub.
Sunny,
and it's sunny.
We're going to go to Wigan Central, have another pint, and get the train home. Yeah. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the Redvee TV show ahead of Hull KR.